Hello and welcome back to the Good Place Bench. I'm seated here today with
Michelle.
and Michelle. Can you introduce yourself to our listeners?
Yeah, sure. Do you want me to look at the camera?
You could do whatever is comfortable.
Okay. My name is Michelle Arrazcaeta. I live in Amsterdam, so I came down to Rotterdam for the Placemaking week. I'm originally from the U.S., if you couldn't already tell by my accent. And I'm a founder of a small studio, transformation studio. I'm also a brand and design strategist, which is one of the reasons why I came here this week to learn about a adjacent creative industry and design. And I'm also a coach for folks in the space.
Very cool. Actually, I want to draw on. Since you're a brand and design strategist, we're sitting right now on our 1.0 bench, and actually we're also kind of collecting feedback on what people think of the design, the shape, and so on. And of course, the purpose behind this bench is to sort of facilitate some type of interaction between people. So I was curious if you were to design actually your own Good Place bench. Let's imagine what would it include, or what would it look like?
So this is more of my own version, not feedback on this, because I do love the open space. It's very inviting. I have big energy, and I get very excited, enthusiastic, and I also love color. So I think part of what my good place would be is to add to the energy of a space. So bringing in a lot of color, making this colorful, inviting, playful, and also inviting folks like us who are in a creative space, but oftentimes thinking a lot. We're so in our heads, and we're like, how does this go? And the strategy for this, and we need it to be designed in this way and achieve these design criteria. And you're like, oh, what if we could just have fun with this? What if there was a big fake flower sitting here? Or what if the seat had leaves coming out and I was the flower? How can I add a bit of that wonder and that playfulness into a conversation so it's less intimidating and more imaginative? That would be something I would like to inject or gift people, that energy, and also invite that kind of thinking.
I love that. We need to add a little bit more whimsy into our lives, I feel.
Yeah, that'd be part of my brand, I guess.
Yeah, I'm also curious because you mentioned you're also coaching, and ooh, we hear some clapping in the background. Congratulations on your coaching. But of course, with that, you're all about you have to create sort of a safe space to connect with people. So how do you actually do that to create that safe space or that good place where people feel open enough to share?
That's a really great and thoughtful question. For me, I think part of this also happens when you're doing research and interviews, and when you're doing participatory design too. How do you create an environment or atmosphere that helps people feel psychologically safe and then also comfortable enough to open up? And I think part of that is kind of reflecting on your own body and being in touch with your body. Again, thinking from here and really reconnecting, being oh, what's going to make me feel comfortable so I'm relaxed so that I can help someone else be relaxed. Another aspect of that is being vulnerable and sharing people. Here's where I'm at. I'm hungry right now. I'm entering this conversation being hungry, or I'm entering this conversation coming after a really challenging meeting and I'm stressed. And then being able to take a deep breath and enter in the space, and then hold a space for someone to feel whatever they're feeling, or to let out whatever they're feeling and thinking. And so I think part of that is creating the container. Part of that is you being present in the space, not thinking about what you're going to say next, but being here and feeling what you're feeling, letting it go, and being there for that person, and letting that person lead the conversation. And then sometimes in interviews, it's also sharing your own personal story. There's a little bit less of that in coaching. There's less answers being given, unlike strategy where you're providing solutions and ideas. Coaching is more holding a mirror for someone to help them see what they can't see when they react to something and get excited, or maybe when they start to look to the side and they're like, oh, wait, and then they went somewhere else, and you're like, what's going on? Like helping reflect back what's going on so that they can see what they actually can't see.
Yeah. Exactly. Actually, I think a lot of what you just shared could also be super relevant within placemaking, for example, when collecting user research and insights and how to really listen and actively listen to needs.
The actively listen part is so important. It's one of the things we learned in coaching that I've never learned as a strategist, and there's things I did intuitively, but there's 3 different levels of listening, and one is active listening, where you're like present and you're focused, but like you're kind of in your head too. There's thoughts going on. You're thinking about what to do or say next, and then there's like focused listening, level 2, whatever. It doesn't really matter what you call it. But level 2 is I'm focused. I'm here. I'm with you. This is level 2. Level 3 is like spatial awareness. Like what's the energy that's going on here? What's the body reaction? Like, am I sloped? Am I up? Like, how are you actually being able to read facial reactions, body reactions, energetic stuff? How do you listen without your eyes? That's like level 3. And so like being able to pick up on these cues and ask what's going on or what do you need to know whether someone feels safe or not, And so I find that so interesting, so helpful just for connection with humans, because that's what that's about too. That's what placemaking is about. That's what coaching's about. That's what creativity is, like helping people feel something. So being able to listen and put the focus on the other person rather than on yourself is such a powerful skill.
I think you totally nailed that question. That's fantastic. So I'll close off here and also putting it out there. This is the beginning of day 1 of Placemaking week. Is there something that you're super stoked for, super excited about, curious about this upcoming few days?
Yeah, 2 things. One, there's a one-on-one placemaking session that I want to go to because I want to understand the philosophies behind it, the criteria, how different people think about placemaking, and I'm curious to see what inspiration lies there, but also what frameworks that I could use in both my design work, but also in coaching. Like, how can I not just design a space where I'm coaching someone, but how can I help them design their workspace? How can I help them design different places where they're engaging with their work? So that's interesting. And then second is one around cities and gender. Like, how do you... there's one speaker that I've been following that I really want to see her talk just on her expertise on degendering cities and how to think about that. I don't remember the name of the session, but I'm really excited to see that. I had never thought of that concept, and it seems so obvious to me now that I'm like, oh, I can't wait to learn and hear the wisdom that these people who go really deep into the research and the design think about it and what they have to say.
Very cool. I'm also looking forward to diving deep into that topic as well. So, Michelle, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And until next time.